Hello, hello, it's Katie again with another flower tutorial. So I was trying to do a watercolor effect on this shadow stone, and I'm using all pastel colors, purple, pink, turquoise, and blue, and it was soaking in because I didn't put a base coat. So I let the first coat dry really well, and you'll see me go again and put a second coat that's quite a bit darker. And then I just take my brush and go back and forth and try to blend the edges some so it all kind of blends in together. And sorry, I went off screen a little there. So I just keep going back and forth and blending until I just get a look that I like. And I'm just going for a crazy color background because I'm going to be putting some flowers on top. And once I get done with this, you're going to want to let it sit and dry really well. And then we're going to put a coat of pink. That's the Arteza color shift in pink. And then you're going to let that dry. And now I'm starting to sketch in my daisy flower. And it's just your basic doodle daisy that I'm drawing in. And now I'm putting white. This is titanium white by Liquitex Basics. And I'm going ahead and putting in white just because of the background color. I want to make sure that the color I put in coats it. So I'm going to do this over the whole flower. And I end up putting a couple of coats because one coat just wasn't enough. So now I'm using magenta in the same line. And I watered it down and added just a tiny bit of white to it, not much. And I'm putting it about 3/4 of the way down the petal. And I'm going to do that to every leaf. And then I'm going to add a whole bunch more white to it and add some more water. There you go. And I'm going to add it to the bottom part of the petal. And I'm just going to kind of just do it in strokes so that it's not in a straight line. It's going to look like it's in a line, but it's not. I'm kind of feathering it out. And I'm going to go all the way around. And then I'm going to get some of the magenta and water it down just like that. Water it down a lot so it's just kind of like a glaze, and I'm just going to go over that line in between the two and blend that better. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the light color. And you just go back and forth until you get it where you like it. So now I'm adding spiced pumpkin to the center dot of the flower, and I'm sketching in my other flower. So I'll have a medium and a little baby flower sketched out, and now I'm going to prime those. And it's just basic little doodle flowers again. I'm in a doodle mood. So I'm just sharing all my doodles with y'all. Now this one I went in and added extra leaves from what I had sketched. I just liked it better. After a couple coats of that, I redid the orange in the middle of the pink flower, and now I'm using dioxizine purple. I added a little bit of white to it, and now I'm putting it again 3/4 down the leaf, or the petal. I'm going to do the same method as the other one. Then I'm lightening it more, and I'm going to do that bottom part of the petal. Now I'm making a little glaze again with that darker color, and I'm just going around and blending in. And now I'm adding some coral pink to the 3/4 of the petal on the other flower. And then I'm going to make some light pink with the magenta, and that's going to be the bottom color. And then I'm going to make a little glaze and go back and blend. Now I'm using a really fine brush and I'm making the stem with just some regular green. And then I'm going to draw in a couple of leaves on the sides. And then I'm going to lighten up that green a little and fill in the insides of the leaves. Touching up the outside. Now I'm using Createx airbrush paint, and I'm just getting a little bit with my fine brush and just adding some little black dots on the flower, just for some texture. And I put a little blob right there, so I'm going back and fixing it with the yellow. Now I'm using liquid pearls, and I'm adding some orange dots inside the flower. Now I'm adding yellow inside the other two little flowers. Now I'm decided to add some dots in silver on the ends of the pink petals. And this is kind of a coral color too. And then light blue on the purple. Now I'm adding some black lines on the petals, just to give it some character. Back with a little bit of black again on the... Now I'm going to add a quote. And I went in and sketched it with a pencil first. It's so important to go and sketch, especially if you have an odd space that you're going to be putting a quote, and if you're going to be using a different kind of font. I always try to sketch it in pencil first. So I went through and sketched it all off camera because it takes me forever and you would be sitting here bored watching me. And then now I'm putting it in with a Copic fineliner, 0.5. I love the Copic fineliners, but they do grind down on the rocks and do not last very long, unfortunately. I go through fineliners like crazy. Plus, I have a heavy hand. So I'm going to go through and do this quote. You're going to let it dry very well overnight, and then you're going to erase all the pencil mark, and you are done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all really enjoyed this tutorial. As the sun colors flowers, so does art color life. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.